Be your best 5 simple steps. So if you're driving or working out and just kind of tuning in just to get some inside scoop on how to be your best, just listen and tune in and just take it all in and do it that way. If you do have access to a pen or paper, you may want to grab them. I'm going to give you some things you may just want to jot down because sometimes just so many things it's hard to remember them. And maybe something today will touch you and move you in a way that's going to take you to the next level, especially when it comes to being your best. So physically, when it comes to being your best, I feel like the number one overall place to start for you would be to have a clear, specific goal. So we're going to do a little exercise drill right now. So this will be very practical, very useful, and you can take advantage of it right away, whether you're listening live today or maybe you're hearing it sometime down into the future. Right. So if you could, here we go. If you could wave a realistic magic wand and you could have your body, your health, your energy, right? Any kind of way you wanted it to be. If you could have it any kind of way you wanted it to be, say between now and being realistic, you could snap your fingers and you could have this health and fitness goal. You could have your body, your health, your energy, any kind of way you wanted it to be. A year from now, what does that look like for you? So think about that. What does that look like for you? Get clear and specific. And I encourage you, if possible, to have a specific goal. A specific goal, particularly in fitness, can be, I love the combination of a body weight and a body fat percent. That is very clear. That is very specific. Now you can use clothes size. You can use, there's a few different ways to do it. But let's just take advantage of it. Let's go with the one that I'm recommending because it's very clear and specific. Anybody, anyone, you can do this. I can do this. If you have any kind of resources or no resources, you can do this. So get clear and specific. Let's give yourself a body weight and body fat percent. Now, how do you know what body fat percent you are? Well, there's a few different ways to do it. If you do have the resources, I encourage you to get something like a DEXA scan. It can measure all kind of stuff. My doctor has it at the office. Every 6 months, I get a DEXA scan, and it's just a great tool. Measures body fat, and everything. So it's a great tool to have, right? So consider that as a tool if you have that. Now, if you don't have that, right? If you don't have that, consider this is one little hack you can do. Go onto Google, do a Google search for men's and women's body fat percentages, and just Google search, right? So that'll give you some range, right? From like very lean to very obese, right? And you can look at the picture, whether you're male or female, you can look at the picture and you can see, okay, this is where I'm at currently. You can gauge just by looking at it. This is where I'm at currently. And then you can look at the goal. This is where I'd like to be. So say if you're a male watching this and you look at the picture, maybe you're 20% body fat, but your goal is to be 10% body fat. You can kind of look on there and gauge that. So I encourage you, this is not part of the 5 simple steps, but I encourage you to get clear and specific on that goal, right? So if you could wave that realistic magic wand, you could have it any kind of way you wanted. Get that clear, specific goal. Put a body fat number to it. Put a body weight number to it. And consider putting a body fat percent to it. My goal is that I'm happy and grateful now that I am at least 190 pounds at or below 10% body fat. Now see how I expressed it? That's the point I want you to take away from this, is how I express that goal, because I want you to consider expressing your goal in that sense, right? Same way as I did it, I want you to consider doing it. It's going to help you mentally. So practice along. I am happy and grateful now that I say at least 190 pounds. You say whatever it is for you. And at or below 10% body fat, you select your body fat goal, right? What it is that you want to be. So that's key. If you get anything from today's lesson, I encourage you to get clear and specific on that goal. I feel like that's the number one thing that if you would do, it would just take you to the next level. Most people do not have a clear, specific goal. If you choose to have a clear, specific goal, I feel it'll take you to the next level so you can be your best. And that's what today's lesson is all about, being your best. How are you going to be your best in fitness and in health? You're going to have it by having a clear, specific, measurable goal, something you can like that, right? I won't say any more about it. That's it. So now once you have that, once you are doing that, I feel there are basically 5 simple steps that if you follow, you'll do wonderful, right? Now, I once had a mentor of mine. He used to say that in any major area of life, there are really only about a half a dozen things that if you follow the principles within those areas, you'll be successful. And with fitness, I feel it's no different. It's not any difference. So with fitness, I feel like there are only 5, what I call the 5 majors, or the 5 fundamentals. What do you like? But it doesn't matter what you call them. There are only 5 things. Only 5 things that if you follow the basics and stick with them, you'll be successful. Training, nutrition, recovery, supplementation, and mindset. Now let's take a look at training. When it comes to training, there are basically 2 basic pieces of training I want you to consider: strength training and cardiovascular training. Now imagine for a moment that we're in an airplane and we're flying along, right? And we have a twin engine airplane, right? One engine is strength training, one engine is cardiovascular training, right? So if we have both engines going on the airplane, you're going to be, boom, doing great, right? If you have both engines going on the airplane. But now what would happen if you only had one engine on the airplane, right? How will that be? I wouldn't want to be on that airplane, right? So we want to have both engines going on the airplane. I want you to consider having some sort of strength training regimen and some sort of cardiovascular training regimen. I feel like that's going to give you the most power for your exercise basics, right? I hope that makes sense. Now, when it comes to strength training, please consider there are basically 5 principles of training: proper form, variety, intensity, proper training principles, and consistency. So when making up a good program, I encourage you to have a blend of those. Why is proper form so important? Most people would guess so we don't get hurt, and then so that we're also exercising the muscle effectively, right? You're going to get the most use out of your time. Number 2 is variety. Why would we want to change it up from time to time? Why not do the same workout for a year in a row? Why switch it up occasionally? Have you ever heard of a plateau? Right? A plateau is where you get stuck, and it happens often. A lot of times people get comfortable doing the same exercises and rep patterns and tempos, and they get used to doing the same thing and not changing it up. And then they hit a plateau. But when you mix it up, when you add variety into your routine, you can bust through the plateau. Now, how can you add variety into your routines? You can change the rep ranges, low reps to high reps. You can change the speed of the movement, sometimes slow on the way down, sometimes fast. You can change the rest in between exercises. And you can change the overall routine, how you coordinate everything. There's lots of ways to add variety. So remember to consider variety into your strength training program, right? So variety. So we have proper form. These are what makes up a good training program. Proper form, variety, intensity. Why would it be important to train with intensity? What comes to mind? Let's look at this. Say, for example, say we're doing a chest press, and say we're going for 12 repetitions. We did 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, we can barely get 12. But we got it. What's the most beneficial part of that set? The first few reps or the last few reps? It'd be the last few, right? And why? Well, that's where the overload occurs. That's where we challenge the muscles. You know, it's during the strength training program, that's when we're breaking it down, and it's through rest and recovery that it grows back and overcompensates and grows back more muscle, right? So that's intensity. So we have proper form, variety, intensity, proper training principles. There's a variety of training principles, compound sets, doing drop sets, circuit training, giant sets, rest pause training. It's just a whole bunch of ways to mix things up. Be sure, and you can look it up online or in ChatGPT, look up different training principles and be sure to include them in your training program. And by the way, training program in mine, I have an app that's almost ready for download. It's going to be free. There's going to be training programs on there. If you're interested in testing it out for free, be sure to be on the lookout for it. I'm probably going to post it on the website fit.fitness. It's a free download, and it's going to have a lot of free access. But so we have proper form, variety, intensity, proper training principles. And last but not least is consistency. Now, when you think about the power of consistency, what comes to mind? Imagine for a moment that you have you, and say you have a twin of you, and say you start a program, and we're going to meet back here in 1 year. Now, imagine you start off, you work out 5 days a week, you're doing cardio and strength training, and you eat healthy most of the time, you're getting your rest. The other person starts out that way, but misses a workout here and there, eats a little more junk here and there, skips a good meal here and there, doesn't always get all the sleep he or she needs. At the end of the year, who's going to have the best progress? It's going to be the consistent person, the consistent person, which is I hope you will be the consistent person. So when you're building out a proper training program, be sure to consider proper form, variety, intensity, proper training principles, and consistency. Put those all together. Be sure to get it. So that's training. Let's look at nutrition. Imagine for a moment that we want to build a 2-story house from scratch. And imagine that we only have half the materials necessary to build the house. How far are we going to get? About halfway, right? So the foods that we eat on a daily basis, are like the supplies that goes towards building our bodies, right? So think about it that way. So as you're building your body, right, the foods that you eat on a daily basis, that's what's building it. That's what's building your body, right? Does that make sense? Right? So consider that. Now, as you're considering what to eat, I recommend to myself and to my clients a whole food plant-based diet consisting of about 50% coming from fruits and vegetables, and 25% whole grains, and 25% proteins like legumes, lentils, nuts, and seeds, right? And protein shakes. I've always enjoyed protein shakes. Now, let's look at the types of food and what happens when they break down into our body for a moment. Imagine for a moment that we have a fireplace, and we want to build a fire in the fireplace. Now, not including kindling and getting the fire started, but if you had to choose between like sources of fuel, oak wood or paper, and not including getting it started, but you had to choose between oak wood or paper, which one would you use and why? Most of us would choose the oak wood. And why is that? Because it's going to burn longer, slower, more sturdy. It's going to last longer, right? So foods like fruits and vegetables and whole grains and legumes, lentils, nuts, and seeds and good smoothies, they burn slow, and that's like oak wood. And that's why I want you to consider the oak wood foods, right? And for more information on that, if you want to watch a fun documentary on Netflix or YouTube, consider watching The Game Changers, THE, Game Changers, right? Recovery. There's so much we can say about recovery. Some people would even put this at the top of the list. And health-wise, from a health perspective, a professional that I really respect recently said sleep is the number one thing most people can do to make the biggest impact on their health. And he recommended he was sleeping 8.5 hours a night. All the neurologists I know recommend 7.5 to 9 hours sleep a night. But if you can get 2 hours of REM and 2 hours of deep every night and have good sleep hygiene, that's you're going to do yourself wonders. Right? So consider that. Supplementation. There are basically two different types of supplementation or categories as I put supplements into. Nutritional supplementation and enhancement performance supplementation. Nutritional supplementation are like the smoothies, and I love the smoothies. You can make them chocolate and you can make them fruity. You can make them chocolate peanut butter, all kinds, right? And then, but the enhancement of performance, that category, I would put in strength enhancing supplements like creatine. And I would also put in hormone medicines from people that are over 40 that are getting into hormone therapy. I would put hormone medication in that enhancement supplement section, right? Does that make sense? So we have exercise, nutrition, recovery, supplementation. Last but not least, here we go. Last but not least is the mindset. The mindset. Now, if you walk away from anything from this lesson today, I encourage you to have a clear, specific goal with your health and fitness. Know exactly what it is you want to achieve. Set it up with an affirmation like I do. I am happy and grateful now that I am, you fill in the blank. I am happy and grateful now that I am blank pounds and blank body fat percent. You fill in the blank. Then back it up with training, nutrition, recovery, supplementation, and mindset. Before I let you go, consider that the mindset is like, imagine for a moment that we're trying to build a big commercial building, and we have a big crane, and the crane is and you have that person inside the crane pulling the levers. That person in the box, that box is your mindset. Your mindset pulls the levers on your body. Our mindset tells our body what to do, not the other way around. Let's get that straight. Your mindset is powerful. So I encourage you to set your mindset every day with the intention of what you're happy and grateful for your goal, that you know exactly what it is you want. You detail it. Some people even go so far as to say it's like when you're building out a house and you have a blueprint of the house. And you have know where every outlet's going, every little bit of the house. That's how detailed I want you to consider getting your fitness goals down. Know every bit of what you want to achieve in the fitness realm and visualize it every day, saying every day in the present tense, I am happy and grateful now that I am, you fill in the blank, pounds and blank body fat percent. Be blessed. Remember that health is wealth. Free resources at fit.fitness. And I have an app that's coming out that's going to have free workouts on it. And if you're interested in it, just be alert. It's coming out. Hopefully, I've been working on it since August. Hopefully, any day now. So if you're interested in getting some workout plans and participating in a test on it, please let me know. Appreciate it. Remember, be blessed, and our health is wealth. Without our health, what does it matter what earthly possessions we have or don't have? Our health, your health, our health is our wealth. So consider that. Be clear and specific on your goal. Back it up with the 5 to be your best. Back it up with the 5 simple steps of proper training, nutrition, recovery, supplementation, and mindset. Be blessed. And remember, my goal is to come at you every Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, 1:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join me live or just be on the lookout for the replay. Bye for now.